Those three sentences, Milosevic redefined Yugoslavia, and the world acquiesced. By calling Yugoslavia Greater Serbia, this gave an important clue for Slovenia, Macedonia, Croatia, and Bosnia. It warned them of things to come. And it was at this moment that the autonomy of KOSOVA slipped through the cracks. The Albanians responded to the Serb consolidation of power with mass demonstrations and nonviolent resistance in the hopes of gaining support from the other Yugoslav provinces and the world community. They wanted support for their claim for equality and representative government. In Pristina, the delegates of the KOSOVA parliament met. Under the threat of military force, the building was surrounded by tanks and soldiers were in the hallway. The delegates were forced to vote against Kosova's autonomy, thus consolidating Milosevic's power. Milosevic then ordered trials for political leaders and the Albanian intelligentsia to keep his promise made at Kosova Polja to track down and punish dissenters. The Albanians organized mass rallies to protest the abolition of autonomy and these trials. Large numbers of people attended the rallies, and at first, Albanians truly believed that their day was at hand. As one woman said, "It was a wonderful time. To see each family doing this together made us feel very strong, that we could be peaceful in such violent times. It's a very strong force when people come together like that." The Serb government in Belgrade ordered martial law be established in Kosova. They moved in tanks. Now, 5 years later, there are 60,000 soldiers in Kosova. The breakup of Yugoslavia has been characterized by a series of broken promises. At the miners' hunger strike at Trepča mine, workers demanded the return of Kosova's autonomy and the resignation of the current leadership. They also demanded the release of political prisoners. All leaders of Yugoslavia, from Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, and Macedonia, promised that the miners' demands would be met. While leaders were promising to restore autonomy, the consolidation of centralized Serb power continued. Eventually, the miners in the strike lost their jobs and homes. Many were arrested. They are among Kosova's poorest people today. Mass firings were held. All media and television personnel were fired. Doctors, judges, and teachers were fired. The Constitution was suspended, and Albanian schools were closed. All the books in the university library were removed. Museums and theaters were closed. Serbs claimed that the ethnic conflicts with Albanians were an internal problem, and that the Albanians were internationalizing human rights abuses. This 11-year-old child was blinded in one eye by a soldier. 5 years of poverty and abuse have already forced many Albanians to leave the country altogether. At the same time, Serb families are relocated to Kosova to change its ethnic makeup, sometimes bringing force and intimidation directly into people's homes. Here's an account from a young boy in Pristina. "In our building there are 70 apartments. Maybe 45 of these now belong to Serb families who have been moved in. 20 of these families work for the police or are boarding policemen, and they all have weapons. They have machine guns. They don't hide the guns at all. We see them in the hall, the stairs, and everywhere. They have handguns on their belts, too, prepared for a war that never happened. At night they shoot machine guns off out the windows of the apartment building. My parents wake up and watch what is happening. I tell myself this is nothing. I lie to myself so I can keep hoping things will get better. My father says, 'Don't be scared, go to sleep.' But the police are drinking, and through the wall we can hear them sing loud songs about what they will do to us. We tell each other we're not scared, but we lie. Of course we're scared. We're not stupid. For short gunshots we don't get up. But for long machine gun fire, over 10 to 15 seconds, we have to check. We have to be awake just in case. It happens often during the week. In 1993, international human rights observers in Kosova were expelled. Despite up to 200 abuses per week, no abuse case has ever been brought to a fair trial. Morale is wearing thin. The children are malnourished. Harassment is commonplace, especially at the borders. Ibrahim Rugova is the elected leader of the Kosovar Albanians. He continues to seek solutions to the problems in Kosova through peaceful democratic means such as diplomacy and dialogue. At a meeting with Swedish leaders, he said, "Repression has increased since 1993. The international community must step up its pressure on Belgrade to change its position." As early as 1992, the U.S. Institute of Peace recommended that a stabilizing presence was needed to ease tensions in Kosova and to avert a wider Balkan disaster. Yet so far, no one has acted on this recommendation. Warren Zimmerman, our last ambassador to Yugoslavia, has stated that we should make every effort to support democratic groups in the former Yugoslavia, as the only way outsiders could counter nationalist hysteria. Should an open conflict erupt in Kosovo, the war would immediately spread beyond its borders to involve Macedonia, Greece, Turkey, Albania, and Bulgaria. At this point, world diplomats count on the silence and stability of Kosovo to prevent this whole-scale disaster. The Kosovars have remained steadfast in their commitment to lawful democracy. The world counts on their subjugation and stoicism to maintain peace in the Balkans. Solutions to the breakup of Yugoslavia must be regional and inclusive, not ethnically exclusive, the way Serbia has set it up now. To see solutions in bits and pieces is only to prolong the conflict and unrest. Kosovo must be included in discussions, articles, and efforts at diplomacy. Kosovo is a pivotal point of a vastly complex regional problem. The people of Kosovo have suffered more than their share in burying the degradation of quiet ethnic cleansing. They have every right to be part of a humane solution.